2 weeks ago, I found something that completely shattered my view of my 3-year relationship with Meredith. It started when her best friend, Tanya, sent me a screenshot. And it was Meredith posting in a private women's support group about how she was thinking of getting back at me with revenge cheating, because according to her, I had already cheated with a coworker. The problem? I've never cheated, ever. The supposed coworker was Janine, who's 58, married, and has grandchildren. She lives 2 states away, and I've only seen her twice in person at work conferences. The idea that we were having some secret, months-long affair was laughable. Yet there it was in black and white, with hundreds of women piling on in the comments, telling Meredith I was trash, encouraging her to cheat, praising her for being strong. And Meredith? She was eating up every bit of it, adding more details to the lies. About me staying out late at an office job I don't even go to since I work from home. About suspicious charges on my card that were actually gifts for my nephew. About me being protective of my phone because of secrets, when in reality it held sensitive work data. Tanya sent me the post because she knew something didn't make sense. She'd been to our apartment on nights Meredith claimed I was gone cheating, and she knew I was home. Once Tanya started comparing the lies with what she actually saw, she realized the story didn't add up. She dug deeper and found more of Meredith's posts. This wasn't a one-time thing. For 8 months, Meredith had been creating this fantasy world online where I was the unfaithful boyfriend. First it was hints that I was emotionally distant, then suggestions I was texting another woman, and eventually outright claims of a full-blown affair. Meanwhile, in real life she was saying I love you every morning, planning vacations with me, and I was even putting money aside for an engagement ring. When I saw it all, I didn't confront her right away. I sat on it for 3 days trying to process. Then I decided to dig in myself. Meredith had no clue I knew about her online activity, so I took advantage of that. I went to my phone company and requested detailed records. Every call, every text time-stamped. I pulled my work logs from the past year, everything showing when I was online, when I was in meetings, when I was closing tickets. I built a spreadsheet comparing her claims with my actual activity. The results were ridiculous. On nights she swore I was sneaking around, I was either logged into Xbox with my friends, who could verify because of chat logs, or I was literally asleep. The kicker was when I noticed a pattern. Every time she posted about my suspicious behavior, she was actually the one out somewhere. Supposedly at book club. Supposedly visiting her sick aunt. Supposedly at yoga retreats. I checked every single one. Her aunt hadn't been sick, and she hadn't visited in months. The book club? Disbanded over half a year ago. The yoga studio? Shut down permanently during the pandemic. So while Meredith was weaving an elaborate online story about my betrayal, she was lying about where she was and what she was doing. The projection was almost comical if it hadn't been so twisted. I compiled everything. Screenshots of her posts, my work and phone records, my Xbox achievements showing I was grinding through Call of Duty matches at the exact time she claimed I was out betraying her. I even had my buddy Derek send me video clips from our recorded sessions with visible timestamps. Then I decided to get a little petty. I created a new profile and joined the very group she was posting in. It wasn't hard, it was technically public, just not visible to outsiders unless they clicked to join. I waited until her next post. It came on Thursday night. Another long emotional rant where she claimed she'd caught me texting someone else, and was at her breaking point. She wrote about how she was seriously considering sleeping with some guy from her gym who'd been hitting on her, all framed as her only option after my supposed betrayal. 300 people rushed to comfort her, to encourage her. And there I was, sitting quietly with a mountain of proof, watching the whole fake story unfold right in front of me. Within an hour, comments started flooding in. That's when I dropped my reply. Nice piece of fiction, Meredith. I've never cheated on you, not once. Here's the proof. And then I unloaded everything I had been quietly collecting. A spreadsheet that tracked my actual whereabouts during every time she accused me of being unfaithful. Phone records showing I hadn't contacted any woman besides her, my mom, and the occasional work-related exchange with Janine, strictly about servers crashing or password resets. Screenshots of my Xbox achievement logs that lined up perfectly with nights she claimed I was out with someone. I even attached a photo of the engagement ring receipt, purchased only 2 months ago, still tucked away in my desk drawer. Then I added one more line. Since you brought up the guy from the gym, maybe you'd like to explain where you really were during those so-called book clubs and yoga retreats. By the way, your aunt says hello. She's doing much better now that she was never actually sick. The comment section exploded. Within minutes, my phone rang. Not a text, an actual call. Meredith's voice tore through the speaker, so shrill I had to hold the phone at arm's length. She shrieked about how I had violated her privacy, how I had humiliated her, how I dared to involve her family. I stayed composed and told her I knew about Greg. Yes, I knew his name, because she'd once slipped and mentioned him before awkwardly backtracking. At the time I brushed it off, but the memory had stuck. Silence fell on her end. Then came the crying. The desperate, shaky voice saying, "It's not what you think. I can explain. Those posts were just venting." I cut her off, told her the conversation was over, hung up, then texted her. "You have 48 hours to collect your stuff from the apartment. I'll be staying at Derek's. Leave the tea on the counter." But Meredith wasn't finished. Not even close. She launched a counterattack, posting a follow-up in the same group. Claimed I was some manipulative abuser who hacked her accounts. Said the evidence I'd shown was fake. Accused me of gaslighting her. Some people fell for it. But Tanya, her supposed best friend, wasn't having it. She had been saving screenshots for months. And she began dropping them into the comments like bombs. Messages where Meredith bragged about lying. Conversations where she admitted she was stringing people along for sympathy. Even one where she casually mentioned she was sleeping with Greg while making the group feel sorry for her. The group's admin stepped in, demanding Meredith show proof of my cheating. Of course she couldn't. There was nothing to show. Then the wildest thing happened. Another woman in the group recognized Greg's name. Turns out, Greg had a fiancée. Had one the entire time he was sneaking around with Meredith. This woman knew the fiancé personally, and sent her every screenshot. Within a single day, Meredith's entire world started crumbling. She was banned from the support group. Nearly all of her friends in that circle cut ties. Greg's fiancé now knew everything. She lost her apartment. My name was the only one on the lease. And of course she lost me, the one person who had actually been faithful. But she wasn't ready to accept defeat. She stormed into my workplace. Yes, my office. Security footage caught it all. She barged in, marched straight to my desk, and began yelling for everyone to hear. Calling me a cheater, an abuser, blaming me for ruining her life, demanding money for emotional damages. My boss, absolute legend, walked right over, calm as ever, and said, "Ma'am, we've all seen the posts. We know exactly who was unfaithful here. Please leave before we involve the police." She grabbed my coffee mug and hurled it against the wall before storming out. I filed a police report for harassment and property damage. It stung. It had been my favorite mug. Next came the flying monkeys. Her mother, who had swallowed her lies for months, called me every insult she could think of. Her sister blasted me online for abandoning Meredith in her time of need. Her friends, the ones not in the support group, blew up my phone with angry messages. So I made a move of my own. One post. Just one. On my social media, I laid it all out. Every screenshot, every lie, every timestamp. I even included the engagement ring receipt dated months before her false accusations. I titled it, "The Truth About Meredith and Me." The backlash was immediate, but not against me. Meredith's mother called back in tears, apologizing for believing her. Her sister deleted the posts. Her friends went quiet. I thought that was the end. I was wrong. Meredith took it even further. With the victim card no longer working, she went nuclear. Her next move? She called HR at my company and filed a complaint. Accused me of sexual harassment, claimed I'd been sending inappropriate messages to female coworkers. HR, of course, launched an investigation. You remember Janine, right? My coworker who's in her late 50s? She ended up being one of my strongest defenders. She went to HR with years' worth of our email chains. Nothing but strictly professional conversations about servers, tickets, and IT stuff. A couple of my other female coworkers backed me too, saying I'd always treated them with respect and never crossed a line. HR dug into everything and determined the complaint Meredith filed was bogus. In fact, they actually sent her a cease and desist letter for trying to drag me through the mud. That didn't stop her though. Next, she tried to hit me in the wallet. Claimed I owed her half of everything since we'd lived together for 3 years. She tried to spin it like some kind of financial partnership. Her contributions? She picked up groceries here and there, and splurged on throw pillows. Meanwhile, I was the one paying rent, utilities, internet, streaming services, and covering most of our outings. I pulled together 3 years of bank statements, and it was obvious where the money had really come from. She even hired a lawyer. The guy called me talking about common law marriage and splitting assets. I almost laughed out loud. We don't live in a state that recognizes common law marriages, and when I told him that, he hung up pretty quickly. Then came the spectacle with Greg. She went public with him. Instagram pictures of them at the gym, at restaurants, playing the happy couple. But the best part? Greg's ex-fiancée jumped into the comments on every post, pointing out that he had cheated on her with Meredith while Meredith herself was cheating on me. That little honeymoon phase lasted about a week before Greg blocked Meredith and tried crawling back to his ex. She didn't take him back either. Meredith's next stunt was straight out of a bad soap opera. She announced she was pregnant and posted ultrasound pictures with some dramatic caption about new beginnings and blessings. Problem was, the images were ripped straight from Google. A reverse image search exposed the whole thing in seconds. When people confronted her, she deleted everything and locked her accounts. Tanya kept me up to date on the fallout. Meredith lost her job after showing up drunk at work once Greg dumped her. She had to move back in with her parents, and she even got banned from the gym where Greg worked. Not long after, I got a text from an unknown number. It was Meredith's mom. She apologized for everything, said they hadn't realized how bad it was, that Meredith was finally getting professional help. Apparently, her mom found journals where Meredith admitted to all of it, the cheating, the lies, the smear campaign against me. She told me I was a good man who deserved better. I didn't respond. There wasn't anything left to say. It's been 2 months now, and I can honestly say I've turned the page. I kept the apartment, redecorated, and tossed anything that reminded me of her. Even replaced my old mug with a brand new one, fresh start, right? Tanya and I remained friends, and she ended up introducing me to her cousin Lauren. We're taking things slow, but she's amazing, funny, real, and she actually gets a kick out of the fact that I was earning Xbox achievements while my ex was out inventing fake cheating scandals. She even asked to see the spreadsheet I'd made and said it was the most beautifully petty thing she'd ever witnessed. Meredith tried one last time to get back in. She sent me this long email apologizing, admitting that the group's attention gave her a high, and that she got addicted to the sympathy. She confessed to sleeping with Greg and 2 other guys from her gym, admitted she'd projected her guilt onto me, and asked if we could give things another try. I didn't bother responding to her. I just forwarded it to her mom with a single line. She might need more therapy. Then I blocked her. The support group, by the way, ended up rebooting. New moderators, including Tanya, put in rules requiring actual proof before people could make claims. What was once a toxic echo chamber is now a space where people actually support each other. As for the engagement ring, I returned it and used the refund to build myself a killer gaming setup. Hands down the best purchase I've made in years. When I look back, the signs were always there. Her obsession with social media validation. The way she'd twist arguments until somehow she was the victim. How she demanded to know my every move while disappearing on vague errands herself. I ignored those things for too long. But now I know. When someone shows you who they are through their behavior, believe them. Don't wait until you're blindsided by some Facebook post. And always keep your receipts, both literally and figuratively. And Meredith, because I know you're probably reading this somewhere, Greg's already engaged again. Saw it online. She seems great. Maybe this time, don't try to steal her fiancé while pretending your own man is unfaithful. Better idea. Stick with therapy. Peace out.